Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Whiskey Throttle Media. This is our 250 Class 2024 SMX World Championship preview. I'm David Pinger, your host. Got Bruce Murata here, our brand manager here at Whiskey Throttle Media. And we're sitting down to go through the 250 class on the West Coast and talk about who maybe is going to be in the mix here at this opening round. Now, as we mentioned in the start of our 450 show, it is going to be potentially very muddy at Anaheim. 86% chance of rain on Saturday, according to the Weather Channel. Other apps are showing around 50%, but there's no doubt there's rain moving in, and likely it's going to be wet on some level. Now, maybe we get lucky and it just sort of hits the edge, and it's just kind of maybe a little ruddy and soft, or maybe it's a quagmire. Going to be hard to tell, but it's going to have a wet aspect to it. Let's look at the guys on the West. Now, the guys that are always a question mark are Mitch's team.
Yeah.
He's notorious for waiting till the last minute.
Yep.
I'm shocked he still hasn't announced it. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's almost a detriment to these guys. Like, let them start to get their head around it.
For sure.
But this is the way Mitch does it. And so right now, the two guys that we are assuming from his camp are riding west, this could change, are Max Voland and then also Levi Kitchen. Those are the two guys we are assuming just based on, I know Hammaker's riding east. I do know that.
Yep.
So just sort of playing the odds. We think that's probably it. Let's talk about Max first, since we're starting with the Pro Circuit team. Just the bit that I've seen him, and I've seen him out here at the local tracks quite a bit in the last month and a half or so, and he looks more comfortable on this Kawasaki than I ever saw him look on the KTM. Whatever the reason is, sometimes guys' style just don't gel with a certain type of bike or engine, and I know Max really was always looking for more bottom end. He wanted more grunt. And the KTM engine, just the way it works, it makes power up high. You've got to keep the RPMs up and kind of ride it harder. Maybe that's it. Whatever the factor is, he looks great on this new bike.
Yeah, I agree. And I just think some motorcycles fit riders, differently. And I think the whole PC program fits Max really well.
Yeah.
And I think Mitch has done obviously a great job on delivering that instant, power that he was wanting. Not saying that these other teams or the bike he was on previous didn't have that, but I just feel like he feels comfortable on this bike.
Yeah. I find it really cool that his dad rode for Mitch.
Yeah.
And in the early 2000s and contended for titles with him and race wins and won a lot of races for him. And now his son's on the team. Just a really cool dynamic, kind of a fun story that I'm going to be following and watching.
Yep.
And I will say this about Max, kind of the question mark that I've had in Supercross mostly, he hasn't gone a season yet where he didn't miss main events. And that's a head scratcher to me. If it happens once, it's like, oh man, sometimes this crap happens, right?
Yep.
Happens twice, you're like, as it keeps happening, you keep going, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, what is the deal? I'd like to just see him find that consistency. There's something missing in his whole package. And I don't know what it is. This kid has the speed to be up front racing for wins. Just something. There's a piece missing that he's got to find.
Yep. And maybe this team that's the missing piece.
We'll have to see. So Max Voland going to definitely be a player. This guy's going to be on the box. He's going to be racing up there, up at the front. Let's talk about your buddy. I know you're good friends with RJ Hampshire over at Husqvarna. This is really RJ's year to win.
Yeah.
Last year, he keeps getting better and better, but I feel like if he's going to win a title in this class, it's got to happen this year.
Yeah, and this isn't being biased with, obviously he's one of my favorite riders because of the relationship that we have, but I've known RJ for a long time now, since he was in amateurs, and he still hasn't peaked yet. And I feel like this is his year with me, the talks that I've had with him. If this is the year he's going to do it. So, and the cool thing about RJ is he's one rider that, most people will agree on this. He does not give up.
No,
he does not give up.
No, he's got a lot of heart.
Yeah. And I know he's had kind of that streak of crashing and making mistakes because he's almost like trying too hard to push to get back up there because he just will do anything to win. I feel like I feel like this year he's going to be able to manage that a lot better. And he knows that he's got to win a title this year for this 250 class.
Yeah, it's interesting. The KTM group made a frame change, and everybody, with the exception of maybe Vial, was running it. And it's a frame with a little more flex.
Yep.
You'll see it in the 2024 factory edition models, which is basically what this frame is. Just gives the bike a little more compliance, and I think that's going to help make guys a lot happier.
Yep.
Whoops, hard, square, slick stuff. And the one thing about RJ that always caught me, I get it if you're coming through the pack and you're just trying like crazy to get up front,
right,
and you make a mistake and crash. He would be out front on his own and just throw it away.
Yeah.
A lot. And I was like, man, is he trying to win by this too big a margin? Like, what's going on where he's not managing like whatever his gap is to second and just maintain it?
Right.
Go as fast as you need to go. You don't need to win by 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You ever had that conversation with him?
Honestly, not. Most of those conversations just led to he just wasn't really feeling it that night, or there was a setup that he kind of wanted to change differently. But no, I haven't had those conversations of why that. So. But I do know him coming into this year, he's going to be the guy to watch.
Yeah, I really think he's one of the players. The other guy, I think the main competition for him is going to be number 30, Joe Shimoto, over at Factory Honda. Joe's coming off a really strong finish of the season last year. Rode great at that SMX finale. Rode great in Paris, won the Prince of Bercy title over there, or Prince of Paris, I guess they call it now. And he's riding the bike that Jet and Hunter spent years perfecting. And that thing is good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So, again, Joe's in a spot now. You go to Factory Honda, you've got all these seasons of build-up. He's expected to win.
Yeah.
And that brings with it a pressure. And there's several guys in this boat where it's like, okay, you've got everything you need. You've got the experience. Time to go win.
Yeah.
And I think Joe's got it. So how will he stack up with RJ and even Max? Some of these guys who are expected to start winning. Well,
Joe is a really consistent, smooth rider.
Yeah.
To where when you see RJ come, he's wild.
Oh yeah, he's a wild man.
He's a wild man, and I feel that Joe's benefit will be that he's going to keep it on two wheels. He's going to stay smooth, but when he sees the number 24 come in, I feel like that could break his, him being consistent.
Get him out of his flow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of throwing him off rhythm, to where that's where RJ, that's where he really shines. Is he likes that excitement, that, that charge, to where Joe's more, Joe can. I'm not saying Joe can't charge, but he's just a more calm riding style. But I mean, like you said, he's on a motorcycle that has been proven to win.
Yeah.
So,
and he has these moments where he does kind of go ham and and it's few and far between. But the guys were even talking about that down at the Factory Honda shop when we shot our little piece on their team mechanics and staff. They said when he gets in that mode, he's awesome. It's just getting him into it.
Right.
So we'll see. To me, it's going to be interesting to watch what he does now on this Factory Honda bike. If that change of team sparks something in him. I know he was out there at the day we were shooting at the Honda test track, and he looked good.
Yeah.
Didn't see any other 250 guys out there other than Chance Hymas. So it was hard to judge him against somebody really at the level, but he looked good. So Joe Shimoto is certainly going to be a title contender this year. The next guy I want to talk about is Jordan Smith. What are your thoughts on Jordan? This guy has, going back to when he rode for the TLD team, I thought this kid has the speed.
Yeah.
He was contending for that title all the way to Vegas back with TLD. Kind of threw it away, and it seems like that's his MO. All the speed in the world, just can't get the deal done. Like crashes or inconsistencies. And I'd love to see him figure it out, because he's kind of in that spot where if he can't put some solid results in this year, I think his opportunities are going to start to diminish.
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be a very interesting year for Jordan, because it's kind of like that make or break year for him. Like you said, I mean, he definitely has the ability to be a top runner, as we've all seen it before, But there's just that thing about him where it's like, man, he's on this really good streak of, podium winning. And then all of a sudden it's like this crash. So I feel for Jordan, hopefully he can manage that a little better this year and stay calm and kind of let the race come to him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to really help him out and I've known Jordan for a while as well. I've been around a lot of his racing and wins and stuff like that. And I feel like that's my advice if I were to give it to him would be to just let the race come to him and be patient this year, because he's got the speed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it'll be interesting for him this year.
All right, moving on to the TLD Gas team. Ryder Franchesco is going to be representing the TLD boys on the West Coast. I feel like he's in a place now. He's got some years of experience, a couple years logged in. He kind of knows what to do. Time to start delivering results.
Right.
How do you think he might do? It's been, I don't want to say underwhelming for him, but he had a lot of hype coming into the pro ranks. A couple flashes here and there where he's done all right, but really nothing up on them. No podiums, nothing to really go, oh, wow, kid's here.
Yeah, and I think, he's been, ever since, for how far back I could think of him even riding a motorcycle, he's always been on Kawasaki. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is one of those things where it's like a new team, that new feel. Maybe this will kind of step it up to make him really shine. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to watch. Again, I don't know enough about him to know how he does in the mud or anything like that. If it is muddy, some of these other guys, RJ rides the mud well, Joe rides the mud well, Jordan rides the mud well. Yep. So being a West Coast guy from Bakersfield, don't know that he's got a ton of mud experience.
Yeah, he's I really can't. I know he's a great rider, obviously, but I don't really know where to put him, Ping. I don't.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. The other Pro Circuit Kawasaki guy, Levi Kitchen. This is who we think is riding west. Again, this isn't confirmed, just best guess based on other riders and where we think they might go. This was a big surprise for me this year. For him to leave Star and come to Pro Circuit, not that Pro Circuit's an inferior team, but that Star Yamaha has been the bike.
Right.
It's a great program down there. It's proven. You got basically a whole starting gate of other 250 guys to ride with. I was a little surprised to see him leave. Don't know if it was much better money. Don't know if there was something he felt like he was missing. That's a question I really want to ask him when I get a chance. But here's a kid from the Pacific Northwest, Washougal area. He can ride the mud.
Yep.
This is a kid who will put an asterisk next to his name. If it does come down heavy at A1, this is a guy that could come out and win.
Yeah, I agree.
What are your thoughts on Levi Kitchen?
Yeah, like you said, Ping, I was shocked to see him leave the Star team. And I don't know the details with that. But from what I've heard about him riding on the PC bike, he loves the bike and that he's looking really good. So, podium guy, absolutely. And if this A1 ends up being a mudder, he's the guy to keep your eyes on for sure.
I really think he's my favorite.
Yeah,
for a mud win. Nate Thrasher, want to talk about him. I don't know a lot about Nate. He seems like incredible speed at times, but then he's nowhere to be found at others.
Yeah.
So maybe just a little bit of consistency issues.
Yeah.
From Tennessee, I believe. So probably a good mudder. Mm-hmm. And he's on that Star Racing Yamaha. It's kind of the team to be on a 250 right now.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's like all of a sudden Nate Thrasher won. Wait, what?
Yeah.
And then the next weekend it's like, where do you go?
Yeah, outside the top
10. Yeah. Great team. And it'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
And his teammate is number 5'11", Nick Romano. Again, a guy that I don't know much about, New York boy. Mm-hmm. So probably good in the mud.
Yep.
So Star is racking up some good mud riders here if we get rain. Man, it seems like he's had a lot of injuries last year. And again, you'd see like a flash of brilliance and then gone. Crash, injury, just a lack of consistency in the results. But he's on the Star team. Again, the bike, the support of that crew, they believe him in enough to sign him again.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Another guy I'll keep an eye on.
Yeah.
I really don't know where to put him.
Yeah. I don't have enough to speak with him about him at the pro level, as I haven't seen him really race a pro event, You know, I haven't seen him
in person. Yeah.
Right. So I don't really know where to put him. I know as an amateur, he was absolutely amazing. So ever since he was a little kid, I followed him through the amateur ranks, and I always thought he's going to be the next guy when he gets to the pros. But yeah, I can't speak for him right now.
Yeah.
It's just, you know,
there's a lot of question marks in this class, a lot of questions that will be answered as the series plays out. There's a couple more guys I want to mention. One of them, Julian Bome, Red Bull KTM rider, really plucked kind of out of anonymity. This kid came out of nowhere, grew up in Havasu, racing jet skis. His dad was a jet ski racer, right? He's got 7 world titles in the jet ski realm.
Yeah.
The world finals are in Havasu, so easy local races for him. But the kid obviously can perform under pressure.
Yep.
And Davey Millsaps has been training him. And Davey told me, he goes, this kid's on. He said before he even had signed with Factory Red Bull, he said, man, keep an eye on this kid, dude.
Yeah.
He goes, I've never seen a kid pick things up so quickly. I tell him to try something, do something. He picks it up. It's done.
Yeah.
He's like, he's the hardest working kid I've ever seen. Like, this kid's got a rocket strapped to his ass.
Yeah.
So I started paying attention to him, and I'm watching him. He did, Deegan beat him at the combine at Red Bud, but he was second. Really had some decent rides throughout the summer. I find out he gets signed to Red Bull KTM. I'm like, okay, no big surprise. That's kind of, Davey was right.
Yeah.
And now when I went to this KTM launch, again, Ian Harrison comes up to me, team manager, and he said 2 things. He was blown away with Aaron Plessinger. And he goes, this Julian kid, he goes, oh man, he's fast. He goes, he looks really good being. And I think that you can see him hanging it out. Like this kid is hungry.
Yeah.
Now that's going to play out one of 2 ways. And you know how this goes.
Yeah.
Either he's going to blow some people away and wind up on the box and like come out of nowhere, or he's going to yard sale.
Yeah.
And maybe a little of both.
Right.
At rookie season. But incredibly quick. Watching him at the test track that night, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Not afraid. He'll jump anything. The guys were talking about there was a rhythm that only the 450 guys, I think only Chase had done it. And Julian goes out, sizes it up, and hits it.
Yeah.
And Ian was telling me this. He goes, man, it was sketchy. He goes, like, there's other 450 guys not even looking at it.
Yeah.
And Julian just, once he sees someone do it, he does it.
Yeah.
What do you know about this kid?
So, I mean, I've known this kid since he was a little guy. He hasn't really known me that much, but we had a lot of mutual friends, and I'd always see him growing up racing. And I even watched him do a couple of jet ski races. And I mean, the amount of talent that kid always had since he was a little kid was unbelievable. And speaking with, talking with Davey, you know, Davey doesn't, I mean, he's going to pick who he wants to work with. And Davey's all about this kid.
Yeah.
And no, it's not because Davey's from Havasu or lives in Havasu as well. And so does Juju. Davey sees something in this kid that, you know, he said, this kid's going to do it.
Yeah. He's really high on this kid. So
So it's,
you're right. Davey doesn't need the money. He doesn't need to do this.
And like I said, I mean, Davey, if any of you know Davey, he ain't just going to go want to work for anyone.
No.
You know, he's going to really pick and choose who he wants to train. And he's like, dude, this is the kid.
Yeah.
So
I'm really excited to watch him. I honestly, I really would just like to see this kid go this season healthy.
And if it's a rain race, the kid knows how to ride in the water. Jet ski racing.
I don't know if that translates, but I'll give it to you.
For the goggles, you know, maybe the water spots on the goggles. No, but
he's like, it's not wet enough.
Yeah.
I think if he can stay healthy this rookie season, no major get-offs, injuries, then the sky's the limit for him.
For sure. I
worry because, like I said, I saw a lot of intensity out of him that night. And maybe he was just trying to kind of impress the media.
Right.
But this kid doesn't know how to shut off.
Yeah.
It's just full tilt.
Yeah.
And I worry that could bite him. But I'm really excited to see what he can do.
Yeah.
One of my kind of main guys I'm keying in on and watching.
Yeah.
The last guy I want to mention here, and again, this isn't everybody in the class, but these are just some of the major players. Billy Laninovich, 40-year-old man, got the Tennessee waterfall off the back, rocking the big long hair.
Yep.
He's making his return to racing for Team Faith.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've been having some conversations with him. We're kind of following his story. And I'm like, Billy, what are you doing? What's the point of this? He's like, oh, I think he feels like maybe he didn't retire on his terms. He kind of left something on the table. And I don't know. There's something about he wants to be like the oldest guy to qualify.
Yeah.
And I kind of shook my head when we had him on the Whiskey Throttle show. He mentioned it, and I kind of giggled. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I was like, oh, all right, well, good luck, And here we are. He's prepping for it, and we go watch him ride, and I'm like, oh wow, he looks really good.
He does, and Ping, I think a lot of these ex-pro riders would be lying to, or they're lying to themselves when they say, oh, I don't care to ever ride a dirt bike again. They miss it. Yeah. I mean, you could probably speak for that. Oh yeah. Like if you stopped riding tomorrow, you definitely be missing it. And that's with Billy. He misses it. Yeah. He wants to be back out there. Yeah. And where I see Billy is he is super talented on a motorcycle. I mean, he did great in Supercross. He was a very technical rider. And I feel with him stepping away from the sport for so many years and just kind of being a fan of it and watching it and training people, he's learned a lot about it. Yeah. And I feel that I feel like he's going to do really well. Do I think he's going to make main events? Absolutely. Because that's the biggest question. Is he going to make a main? Yeah. And I feel that he could probably be in that 8th to 12th place. And every round, I feel like he's going to get better and better. But where I feel he's going to really do well versus these other top competitors is just he's going to be able to stay calm and not do anything out of control, to where I feel like these top guys are going to just be, like you talk, like Juju, they're going to just be pinning it. Yeah. Even RJ, they're all going to be pinning it, which is going to lead to higher risks of mistakes, to where Billy might be like, kind of reminds me of when Preston won his championship. He just stayed consistent. Guys would crash. He'd just go around him and win. So
just steady. Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be very interesting I believe in the guy. I do. Yeah. I'm going to be cheering for him. So
I am too. I mean, if you know Billy, you love him. He's just the sweetest dude. And like I'm telling you, he looks really good.
Looks really good.
He looks like he's in his prime. He won the San Francisco Supercross in 2005, I want to say. Mm-hmm. That's what he looks like right now. Yeah. He looks like that kind of just precision and flow on the bike. And you talk about Hanny. He reminds me a lot of Josh Hansen. Just buttery smooth. And I don't know that he's got any really big goals in mind specifically, but he wants to make mains. I don't think it's a problem. No. Now, I don't know how he rides the mud. I don't imagine he's ridden a lot of mud in the last handful of years. But
especially him being a SoCal
local. San Diego boy.
Yeah.
But best of luck to Billy. We're going to be following it. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is our 250 preview. If you missed our 450 class preview, it's up. Check it out. And we'll see you guys at A1. And be sure to stay tuned. Every single Monday after the races, Riders Meeting is coming back. Be right here on our YouTube channel. So subscribe. You'll get notifications. And we'll be giving you a breakdown of what we saw on the race night. And then every Thursday, you will see Sight Lap kind of previewing what's coming up that following weekend. So stick around. Check it out. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, comment what you thought, and share it with your friends.